Glad to have you join us again. Let's get started with some of the top business headline. We have our guest joins us now. Olushola Oloye is a policy analyst and, of course, an insurance expert. He joins us virtually now. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Oloye. We appreciate you for coming on board. Good morning to you.
Yeah. Good morning, and I'm happy to be on your show. How are you?
Oh, great. I'm doing well. So let's hit the ground running. If you look at the first story, of course, perhaps it's one of the biggest story of the day. Looking at what the operators are saying, I mean, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria saying that the recent increase in excise duty for beverage and tobacco goods will force businesses to shut down or scale down operation. And so they are threatening to shut down over excise duty. You remember the publication done recently about the fiscal policy measure that was published earlier. So talk to us about this. So what is the implication of this, especially talking about the fiscal policy measure that was published, the new document that was published, and of course, the second is that the implication of shutting down over this increase in excise duty.
Okay, thank you very much. And this is a very, very interesting period, and most especially as the new administration is going. Just some few days left, and the announcement of this increase in excise duty has really put things in a very, very heightened situation, and calling for a shutdown portends another form of a challenge for the new administration that is coming on. And this is going to challenge the economy a whole lot because if manufacturers choose to decide to shut down, that is greatly going to impact on availability of goods, and that will force prices to further go up, and then there'll be limited supply. So it's not a very good news at all for the entire economy. And government needs to respond very quickly on areas on how they are going to cushion or more or less, relieve as much as possible the great impact that this is going to have. But quite a lot of policy, coming on to us this last minute, and each one of them is cumulating on each other and is really affecting and impacting the general populace.
But I'm wondering, I mean, one wonders what happened between when the government rescinded their position to reverse the excise duty, specifically on some of the products. For instance, those who are into beverage production and all of that. We thought that perhaps that would be the end. So one is wondering now, between then and now, what happened, because this administration, actually, like you said earlier, has less than 2 weeks to the end of the tenure. Well, I was trying to get
Hello, I can hear you any longer.
Did you get my question, the last question? So I was just wondering, I mean, what happened between then? If you remember that the government clearly came out and said they were reversing or rescinding their stance or their stand on excise duty increment on some of the products.
I think the network from your end is really bad. I can hardly hear you.
Oh my goodness. I wish you can hear me, but I'm just trying to look at the possibility of then and now. What has happened? What changed? Why did they reverse their decision, their stand to increase these on some of these products? Because at a point the government decided
I can't hear you at all.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I mean, let's quickly take a break. Perhaps we'll be able to fix it and then we can continue. You're still watching Business Breakfast. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. Thank you for joining us again. So we have Olushola Oloye back online, policy analyst there. Thank you for staying, hanging on there. So I need you to perhaps finish your thought on this conversation. Hello, Mr.
Okay,
Aloye, can you hear me? Yes, please go ahead.
yes, I can hear you very clearly. And, just like I shared my thoughts that quite a lot is going on within the last, few days and wrapping up this administration and coming up with policies of this nature, which is impacting almost every sector, and most especially the manufacturer, having increase in excise duty is a very big challenge, and is affecting prices, and consumers will be greatly impacted in the process at the end of the day. So what this government is trying to do and show us clearly is that revenue is dwindling on a daily basis, and they are looking for how to use physical measure to generate as much revenue as possible to be able to continue to sustain the economy. And that is why we are seeing quite a whole lot of this. And this is a big one for the new administration to be able to address.
But do you think that the new administration will be able to address this? Because if this administration thought it is necessary to increase or to renege on its promise by increasing the excise duty, so what do you think the incoming administration will do differently? Because to Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, this is more like a betrayal on the part of government. It came as a shock to them.
Yes, I quite agree with you that this is a big betrayal to the industry. Having met with government and have a good understanding that something of this nature will not be happening. But knowing fully well that, we can't hold the economy, we can't hold as much as possible the forces of demand and supply, and quite a lot of macroeconomics factors that are beyond control. However, because of other policies, I think this has forced government to a corner, and that was why they had to go this way. So the best, or what the new administration needs to do, is to engage quickly on actions they are going to take and the timing they want to use to be able to address this issue. However, pronouncement has been made, and this is already impacting. And the industry people are already threatening a shutdown, which will create a very big collapse. So the new administration need to quickly engage now and start sharing what their plans are and what they intend to do. We want to believe within the first 1 to 2 weeks they will be able to address us.
Okay, let's look at the second top stories here. I mean, the IMF has said that weaker currencies in Nigeria and other sub-Saharan African countries are pushing up public debt. Specifically, they mention Nigeria. If you look at the Naira has declined, since 2022, since the Naira declined by 9%. That's a huge number. And so what is the implication or the further implication of this on the average purchasing power of average Nigerian? And again, we keep talking about the incoming administration. It looks like we're pushing so much work for the incoming administration. Talk to us about this.
Okay, thank you very much. The purchasing power parity across most nations beyond just Africa, but even in the Americas and Europe, it's something that is very alarming. And but taking Nigeria in specific and looking at how this has impacted on us,